Okay, an update here this week. I've been working on how to fit everything I want into a clamshell style design here, and thinking about it also with the possibility of a secondary pivot to raise the display up. That's kind of like what this is currently on. So the original design here was to have the monitor, camera, keyboard, trackpad, and a Bluetooth audio system possibly over here. Now, you might notice here on the trackpad side of things, that's not a trackpad. I've removed the trackpad and replaced it with a Microsoft Arc mouse, which I am definitely more of a fan of. The trackpad was okay, but it wasn't great. So as mentioned, I've switched over to the Arc mouse, this is its off configuration, and you do that to turn it on. It is a great travel mouse. It is a great mouse. It works really well. The Magic Trackpad, while nice, was just too big. It's also, prone to accidental taps. I'm trying to train myself to be better about that, but I just personally enjoy the very tactile nature of the mouse. And so I think I'm just gonna try to incorporate this as a travel mouse and figure out how to make that work in a travel design. Here's the monitor stand. I've taken off the covering on this side. I've actually also taken this apart to see how this would work as well. You can see there's just some screws there underneath holding this piece on here with some threadings into the plastic just to hold that on, but most of the force is going through here. The torque of this is controlled by these washers, and this is what's known as a friction or constant torque hinge. And so a lot of what I've been doing is trying to understand how constant torque hinge and friction hinges work, since I also have my interest of adding that to the clamshell design. These are the laptop hinges I got, which are very small and you can control the amount of torque here. They have a variable amount of torque based on how tight you do the connector, do the bolt here. And so this one I believe is probably impossible to move. And I can adjust the bolt here on the end, and that bolt will allow me to apply the correct amount of force. And so I'll take some aluminum sheets and drill holes and connect them to this, and then create the clamshell design for the parts. I've also created and 3D printed this test of a print-in-place 3D printed hinge to see how I may be able to design hinges, including friction or constant torque hinges, into the design. Ideally, I'm going to need a couple different hinges, at the very least for the camera on top, right? The laptop hinges can be used for the monitor and the main clamshell, but I may want to incorporate other areas with more moving parts. And so this is my first attempt. There is a piece of plastic running through this that holds these two together. They cannot be taken apart because they were printed together. So pretty interesting, area of 3D printing. This is a pretty well known and well used technique, just new to me, Another interesting area I've been exploring is how can I have a better audio setup? Right now, my audio is going through this speaker inside this monitor, and it is not a good speaker. So really what I want to do is figure out a better setup here for audio. So I've explored different options, and I've chosen 3 to try different things out. On this end, I have an $8 Bluetooth board, which is very small and can power 5 watts, or I believe maybe 3 watt speakers that I got off of Amazon. And It can be powered via battery here. I have not tried to power it via USB. We will find out here shortly. Looks like a USB micro B. And then you connect via these JST connectors to your left and right speakers. And I got these smaller 3/4 inch tall 2-inch speakers. It will be difficult to ascertain the sound quality here without an enclosure, but I'm going to just work with what I got here. The next thing I got was what's called the blade speaker from Bocoice, and this is essentially a small credit card sized Bluetooth unit that is battery powered that you simply stick onto a surface. And I have tested this one for a little bit and connected it to the back of the monitor, right around here. And it works phenomenally well. It really depends on what kind of panel device you're connecting it to. You really want something that's going to vibrate in a hollow enclosure. So this is actually a contender. I didn't think so when I first got it, but this is a really cool Bluetooth audio option. The Bluetooth connection and disconnect is not wonky. Sometimes you buy Bluetooth items and you have no idea if it's going to be reliable. This was reliable over multiple days of use, and I listened to music for multiple days, and the battery is good enough for me, you know, in terms of charging. So definitely a good option. And then we have the Lenovo 700 Ultra Portable Bluetooth Speaker. Now, while the quality of this is pretty good for what it is, the quality of this for the form factor is truly phenomenal. This is a very, very thin speaker. It is 11 millimeters if you were curious, measuring it obviously because I'm going to 3D print stuff around it. And this has a extremely good battery life. I do believe it is rated for 12 hours at 70% volume. So this can last for me for a very long time. I'm not going to be listening to 12 hours straight of music. So this is great. It fits perfectly, you know, could fit perfectly within the design. We'll get to that more shortly. Okay, so let's try some of these out. You can get a feel for it as best as possible. Hopefully I can find some copyright-free music and try these, check this out. I'm gonna build this Bluetooth system right here real quick, and we'll try that one out first. My soldering is shitty. All right, let's connect this thing up and see how it sounds. If it even makes any noise. So, battery goes in one way. JSTs, left and right. Okay. And then my partially charged battery. Good enough. And we have a light. Oh, and sound. Awesome. Add device. Bluetooth. Guessing it's this thing. There we go. Okay, we have audio. Well, that sounds great. Like, really, really good. Well, that sounded really good, and I feel pretty confident this might be a working solution. Now, obviously, this is just a lithium-ion battery hooked up directly to the Bluetooth module. I need a battery management system for this to discharge it accurately, which is a small board that I can add in addition to this. But the versatility of how I can design this into the system is really nice, and it is small enough that it is a contender. It is definitely a contender. One last note, it looks like this also can be powered and run directly as a USB audio source over the USB connection, and can also be powered. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, next option is the Bocoice Blade Speaker, which is a bone transduction speaker system. It vibrates onto something it is sticky to. So here's the sticky bit. And what I'm gonna do here is simply just turn it on. Okay, as you can tell, it's not very loud. And I will go ahead and start playing this music, which you can barely hear. And I will go ahead and attach it to the back of the speaker, or the back of the monitor. All right. And that is a little less bassy, a little tinny. The highs, it's okay. It sounds really good for the size. It works as intended. I like it. Let's go ahead and find another area of the song to listen to. Yeah. And it's a standard Bluetooth device that you can plug in and power up. All right, I'm going to put it on a couple other surfaces just to get an idea of the difference of types of sounds, because it's this material and the thicknesses and everything this is connected to, that matters a lot. So let's try a couple different things. So that's against the aluminum base. Much bassier. It's coming through a lot stronger with that bass there. Okay, let's connect it to the 3D printed case and see how that sounds, shall we? A little distorted. I'm going to turn down the volume a bit. Maybe not that much. Not bad. Okay, so the question is, will I actually use this? Now, I'd like a better enclosure. I need to design an enclosure around it similar to the Bluetooth speaker board and raw speakers. But, you know, ultimately, I think, you know, it really remains to be seen whether it's going to sound good with a 3D printed system or aluminum sheets. I do know for a fact that hollow spaces like this monitor sound better. If I were to put this onto other surfaces like the aluminum, it wouldn't sound as good. Next up, we've got the Lenovo 700 ultra portable Bluetooth speaker. Got this one off of eBay. They were not in stock. I don't know if this is discontinued or not, but I really just the form factor spoke to me. Right, this is a beautiful, small, compact unit. Reviews said this had very good audio. I agree. Let's listen to it. The sound quality is great. The volume is great. The battery life is great. There's a lot to like about it. The form factor is fantastic. At higher volumes, there's less distortion than the Blade speaker, the bone transduction speaker. So that has that going for it as well. I definitely feel like this is possibly the front runner because it also means the least amount of work, right? So let's see. Okay, so I have all three here and I'm going to play each one in series. I've set the volume levels to the same values for each, so they're both they're all three at 50%. Well, let's go ahead and listen to each of them here as we play through. Okay, that is the Blade speaker first. Second is the Lenovo 700. And then the Bluetooth headphones. Well, back to the Blade speaker. The Lenovo 700. Oh, it's hard to choose here. These speakers sound really good. The mids are really more vibrant. The bass feels a little nicer. I think just the frequency range of this just feels a little nicer. We'll have to see how it fares in an enclosure though. I think it might be improved even than it currently is. But this is pretty good as well. It's just a different sound. All right, let's talk a little bit about price. This was $89.88, $80 plus tax and shipping from eBay. This is $38 plus from Amazon, so shipping free, taxes as well though. These speakers here were, I believe, $10 for 4. This is an $8 board. A BMS board will run you about $1. And then this Samsung and INR 18650 battery is about $5 along with the cell holder, which is 50 cents or so. So we'll add that up and Let's just call that something like 20 bucks. Okay, I think I'm making the decision to go with the Bluetooth system. That's just the board. For now, that's part of the cool thing about building your own system is you can swap out the parts if they don't work for you, but these things sound definitely good enough for me. So this is the general layout, I believe, of what the clamshell will look like open, like lying flat, right? We'll have the camera, monitor, speakers there, keyboard, and then the mouse. And I really want a centered design here for the keyboard. I don't want it shifted off to any side. So it's very possible that the mouse will simply not be part of the design, like in the sense of it won't be part of the clamshell. Maybe it will be like, you know, clipped onto the side like so, or some other hanging on kind of feature, so that it will just be, when it's time to be used, I can just take it off and just use it wherever. We'll have to see how that works out. There's probably certain situations where that's less than ideal. Maybe I want to have like a little tray for it to work on or something too that I can build into the laptop as well. You know, something that will be a mouse pad area. Right. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.